Dig between those couch cushions and see if all that loose change amounts to $13 trillion. That's how much the U.S. government is in the hole, or in the red, as bean counters will tell you. And the U.S. government could sure use all those loose nickels right about now. Same with me. Joining us now, author of the book, The Looting of America. That book right there you see, right in front of you on the screen. Les Leopold. Mr. Leopold, The Looting of America and $13 trillion. This kind of, I'm guessing, plays right into the title of your book.
Oh, yes, it does, especially when you can compare that debt to the fact that we poured in about $10 trillion into Wall Street in the form of various loans, liquidity guarantees, asset purchases. So actually, the public debt's quite small compared to what we did to Wall Street.
From what I understand, though, the $13 trillion might even be just a very conservative figure.
Well, that could be, but it's always compared to what? I don't think there's one person in the world that's worried that the American government can't pay its interest payments. Compare it, for example, to other countries. That's one comparison. It's a little bit more than Germany's. It's about half, less than half, of what the public debt that Japan carries. Household debt in America is about 120% of income, whereas our public debt right now is about 80-something% of income. So that's not the issue. It's actually a smokescreen for much bigger issues.
Okay, so if it's just a smokescreen for much bigger issues, what are some of those bigger issues in your opinion, if you can enlighten us?
Well, in my opinion, there's a battle going on a global level between sovereignty of the nation state and the financial community. It's a very serious battle about how economic policy is going to be set. Is it going to be set to please the markets, quote unquote, or is it going to be set to please the needs of the people of these various countries? And that's being played out right now. 30 years ago, or actually from World War II all the way till about 1980 or so, there were virtually no financial crises internationally. Financial speculation, runs on currencies, were tightly controlled. But once we decontrolled all that, we let the cat out of the bag, and now there's a serious conflict between the stability of the nation-state's economy and the needs of finance.
That connection that you're making between the sovereignty of a nation-state and also maybe some of the biggest, the finance part of a country, I'm guessing at this point you have some prime examples of how that's playing out now, not just in the United States, but across the world.
Of course. I mean, the battle that's going on in Europe right now, what finance is demanding is that Europe dismantle much of its social welfare policies. People aren't working long enough. People are getting too many vacations. People are eating into potentially the profits of finance. And investors, quote unquote, don't like this. On the other hand, you would think that economy should run in behalf of the people. The way it's playing out here, though, is actually going to be very telling. We have an enormous jobs crisis. Something like 29 million people are unemployed or underemployed. Are we going to deal with that, or are we going to worry about a so-called, what I think is deficit hysteria? That's the battle. Are we going to worry about cutting back benefits for these people, or are we going to try to actually do something about creating jobs, which requires an enormous amount of government intervention?
Is there a way to cut that connection between government and maybe some of the financial part of a nation's economy?
Oh, yeah. It's going to. We just saw one round of it, however, where I'm afraid the American government didn't do very well. When finance was on its knees about a year and a half ago, that was the point to institute some very serious controls. We should have in place right now at least a 50% tax on windfall profit bonuses. I mean, it's ridiculous that a hedge fund billionaire can earn, in America this year, the top 10 earned on the average $900,000 an hour. $900,000 an hour. The top guy earned $36,000 a minute.
Wow.
And they get taxed at the lowest possible capital gains rate. This is absurd. There were $150 billion worth of bonuses that Wall Street paid out to itself after we bailed them out. That money should be reclaimed for the things that we really need, which are tremendous investments in renewable energy, in education, in healthcare, in the real economy where we can put people to work. That's the way the battle plays out. Internationally, are we going to have a tax on financial transactions to slow down this rapid-fire speculative activity that literally crashed the stock markets a couple of weeks ago? It depends on the nations coming together and putting that kind of financial transaction tax into place. But it's very difficult to do because you have many nation states and you have a very united financial community that's resisting with all its might, threatening to drive up interest rates and all the kinds of things it can do to instigate runs on currencies. It's a very interesting battle. We miss the whole picture if we only concentrate on some sort of number like 13 trillion in debt or whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters is this battle, I would argue.
But don't you think $13 trillion, and we have to do this real quickly, but don't you think $13 trillion is still a rather formidable figure?
No.
No.
I don't. I really don't. 13 divided by the whole U.S. economy is nothing. Here's the problem. If we continue not to put our people to work, then the economy is going to slow down, underperform, and you're going to have fewer tax revenues, and you're going to have more debt. The way to you have to grow your way out. That's the way you do it. I'm not worried about the public debt at all.
Les Leopold, author of Looting of America, thank you so much for that insight. We really appreciated it.